All right, I looked on everybody was able to get the median, which I think is awesome. So what do we just, basically, here's what we did is we made a number. You know, we can think about this in all kinds of different ways, but basically we made a number to represent the offense and defense for each team for the entire season, right? We made two different numbers. We made the average, and we also made the median. What do you think? Take a look at the median. Does it seem to be bigger or smaller than this other one? I don't know. It kind of varies, doesn't it? Some of these medians, which would be the middle value, are pretty similar, right? Arizona defense, the median and the average are pretty similar. Find one that isn't. Look at this, Buffalo. Their average for their defense is 22.89, but their median is 18.86.
So what does that tell us? Like, why does it make sense?
It can be outliers. It can be, I guess, you know, this is kind of what you're thinking is that what your median allows you to do is kind of get rid of the outliers, right? If I have, say I have.
Like if there's one bad game?
Yeah, if there's just one bad game or something like this. It's hard to tell here's what we're going to do is we're going to this next week, we're going to use both the average and the median to predict the games. And we're going to see which one gives a better prediction. Do those outliers really matter? Maybe not. Actually, I think last year the averages were better than the median. But we're going to see. So now we've got two different values here. But I'm going to tell you how we can calculate a better value, I think. Has anybody heard of weighted averages? Weighted. A little bit? Sort of? Why do you think we would want to weight these games? And if we're going to weight them, which way are we going to weight them? Which games are we going to give more importance if we're trying to predict next week's games? The more recent games, right? Did everybody understand that? That, say, New Orleans, I think they started out pretty good in the beginning of the year, and now they're kind of crappy, right? And a lot of teams are like that. What if when we calculate these averages, we give more weight to the games that were played more recently? Does everybody see that? And this is kind of new. A lot of these programs do stuff like that, but I don't think a lot of people do that weighted average. And that's going to be important. That's going to be like our unique thing that we do. So if you look here on your spreadsheet, see this purple stuff? These numbers over here, does everybody got that? This is where I take the weighted average of all those games. That if you look at here, Arizona, if you look at the original numbers, so this was their average from 2014, 13.3. If you look back here, their average was 19. The offense average was 18. What I have done on this side is I've kind of I've taken that number over there times this 0.7, and then now we got this number. Let me explain this. I know it's probably murdering this. What I have done is it's almost a percentage. I'm using 70% of this number in the calculation for the average. The week one number, I'm using 75% of that number. 80%, 85%. And you can see it goes all the way up. So that by the time we get to week 12, I'm using 135% of that number. The reason why this works is if you take the average of all those, it should be 1. That's what I mean about the weighted average, is that the games that are played more recently are getting much more, their numbers are bigger. They count more into the average than the numbers that were played at the very beginning of the season. Does everybody understand why you want to do that? That a team's going to, You're only as good as your last week, right? And that's kind of how it is in football as well. Is that, you might have lost, maybe you lost a player in the last couple weeks. You want to represent that loss of that player in the numbers that you calculate. So here's how we do it. Okay, wait. So I've done this for week 1 through week 12. Okay? Oh, wait. Did I do that for? Oh, yeah, I did do that for week 12. Okay. So now we've got 12 here, but we've got to make sure that this number. So I'm taking the average of this. If you go all the way over here, I'm taking the average of this number. I need this to be 1. So if we started out, this was 0.7. You can see that it has to be even on both sides of 1. So if I go over here, you can see that 0.95. Put a 1 right next to it. So hit 1. Everybody do that? Week 6. Yeah. You'll notice the way I made this template, it'll kind of work out by itself. Is that once I put that 1 in, then it automatically adds a 0.05 to it. So here's our first value. It's 0.7. We want to go all the way to week 7 or week 12. This one's 1.3. You'll notice that we're balanced on both sides of the 1, right? The ones at the very early part, I'm only taking 70% of that number. The ones at the end, I'm taking 130%. It all kind of balances out. So when we do this calculation, those numbers that are more recent are going to have more an effect on the average. Did everybody see that? Okay. I know you're looking at me like, waited, what? Trust me, it's going to work. You're going to see how this works. Although we do have some buys here. So again, we're going to have to, what I want you to do is, we got to get rid of this buy. I don't know why I have that buy in there. Oh. So here on this first buy that we see, everybody see that? It's on 11AI.
Yeah.
Okay. Select the 2 cells right on the other side of it, of this buy. 20 and 55. Does everybody have those numbers? Again, put your cursor right in the right corner of that and drag it over. $18.2 and 42.9, right? Okay. And that's what you can do is if you notice you're just seeing numbers here. But if you click on that box and you look up here, this will tell you exactly how we calculated it. So this number, it was an N11, which is that's our week 12 column, 11 right here. It took this number times this number, AI2. That's exactly what we wanted. Is there any more buys in this one? Nope. Oh, wait, this one. Oh, man. Yeah, Pittsburgh, isn't it? So go down to 51. Here we're going to have to change something a little different. I can't take it from this column here. Oh, maybe I can. Let's try that. Never mind. Don't do that. Here's what I'm going to do is I want you to put your cursor in 50 or AI 50. Everybody do that? Okay, drag it down. This is going to freak out. I mean, don't freak out. Something's going to happen. Drag it on these 2. Those numbers look really different, right? Something went wrong. This program will extrapolate based on how you dragged them. If we look at, it's doing the right number here, but it's taking the wrong time. It's timesing it by the wrong number. If you look at the top of this chart, we want to take it to the AI2 2. So go into your cursor and change it. So delete the 3, hit the 2, and hit return. Once you do that, what do you get? 50.7? Yes? Go to the next one. Again, delete the 4, hit the 2, hit return. Is everybody with me so far?
Yeah.
So on that column, week 12 for your weighted average.
32.5.
Yep, perfect. Okay, now we got to take an average of these numbers as well, because that's going to go into our calculations as well. I already have a column for that. And I also have a check to make sure we did this right. Okay, so go to AO, column AO. AO, 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 A. All right. So now we want to take the average of all of, actually for this one, we want to just do AI. So here's what I like to do, and I think this makes it easier. Just click on this. We want to go to this column here. It's AH. Change the H to an I. Put your cursor at the very end of that equation, and then don't hit, if you hit something else, it's going to mess everything up. Watch, if I put my cursor down somewhere else, it thinks I want to add it to this equation. And that's where some people might have messed up. So if I hit it at the very end, I put the cursor at the very end, and I have to hit return. See it? Average, it says average W2 through AI2. That's why I changed it. Change the H to an I. Hit return. Does yours say 1? Please let it say 1.
1.03.
1.03? No. What?
It was 1 before I touched it.
Okay, let me take a look.